Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show off the fire shader. So if you didn't already, go ahead and download it off of the Oka software website. I already did, so if you already have it, just go and drag and drop it into your scene like I did. And there you go. And just like that, you should have it just like that. Pretty simple. So I'm going to go over the parameters here, because we have quite a bit of stuff we can do with this right here, right now. So in a lot of games, the first, let's say when you're a VFX artist, the first thing they always ask you is probably a fire. So we got a nice fire for you. So fire can be very diverse and change to a lot of needs. So that's why we always need to have these parameters for you. So I'm just going to go over them real quick. Blend opacity doesn't do too much right now, so we're not going to, and not until we mess with these other settings that it'll do anything else. So for now, just leave it alone. But yeah, we're gonna go over the noise. So basically how this works is, think of like two textures being overlaid over each other, and they're giving you this illusion of fire. So that's what we have. So we have the base speed of like the texture one, right? So we can make it really fast or really slow. But you'll see, oh, it's not going slow all together because, once again, you have to influence both, right? So if you want a nice wispy fire, you need to influence both. But yeah, you can influence their scale. So just think of like the texture scale. So maybe want it smaller or bigger, right? Oop, I went too big, I think. I'm gonna go with a 0.25, maybe. So if you want a more globby look, you can go there. Oh, let's see if you can go even more. If you want to go with like a maybe orby. Yeah. You can use this maybe if, let's say, for example, I'm just going to jump ahead a bit here. Maybe you want a, like a candle. This is very common. They'll ask you for like a candle or something. So if you want something more dynamic like a candle, just think of like a candle mesh under there. And you see like candles are very mild, but I'm going to go back to my fire. Boom. There you go. So basically that's what that does. And over here we have our colors. So basically, like I said, it's two textures, right? So they have two different colors. So we're going to affect them both. Let's say for, maybe I want something more, let's see, I like the base. Go with a nice blue for the core. Oh, oopsie. And we'll go with a nice maybe purple. So we want maybe something more stylized. And maybe I'll lower the intensity there. No, that's not, it needs to be high. So there you go. So it blends into the other one very nicely. Boom. And there you go. And now we're going to go over the rest. Core strength, basically just, this is the first texture. Like if you want to see how much it's there, maybe you don't want it there at all. So you just want this there. So the less you have, the more, the less you have, it won't be there, right? Core power. You can make it slowly fade out. Keep it at what it was. And the width adjustment. You saw me do this earlier. So to mess with the size of the flame for like, because flames could be all weird kinds of sizes, and even usually I wouldn't recommend going with the scale too much unless it's uniformly doing it. So this is why we have this. So you can do it within the shader so it looks nice, and you're not actually stretching the resolution of the texture so it doesn't look funny, right? So that's why I would recommend you do it within here. And then here we have the radial gradient power. So just think of it like a circle, and it'll like fade it out within the circle, right? That's a good way to example. Look, that's a negative. So it'll show you the circular power, because you see it doing the opposite. So if I do that, you see that it kills it in a circular motion. See how there's just a little bit left here? If I just, now it's gone. Oh, there you go. And this is our a vertical gradient power is so if you just want to kill it or make it fade out through just on the y-axis, right? So if I just want to, maybe I just, because you know, never know, maybe I just want it just slightly on the bottom. Like maybe I have an object that I just slightly want it to be on fire, you know? Like a good example is maybe you'll duplicate this, right? Then I'll have one where the gradient power isn't that strong, and this one, oh, I guess they affect both of each other because they're duplicates. I forgot their parents, but oh yeah, it's one material, so it affects it together. But yeah, either way, you would maybe duplicate it to make an instance, so you would have it for a bottom one. So you can maybe, let's say for example, like you would have just small embers coming from like a fire camp, right? Because you always have the fire that's engulfing the wood, and then there's the actual fire. So that's, you would do that, for example. Just go back to what I had. All right. Oh, I like the purple, so I'm keeping that. Boom. There you go. And I guess, and just like that, you could mess around with whatever you want, you know? You could make it, maybe, like we said earlier, maybe I want something more slow and wispy, right? So maybe we can have like, a good example is like a pickup or something. Let's say, imagine you have an object here and you just want to, gonna scale it up just a bit uniformly. There you go. So there you go. So maybe if you want something more smooth, you would go with this, right? Because sometimes fire isn't always super aggressive, right? With a nice red center. Then orange. Was that the one I went with the base? Sometimes fire is pretty mild, sometimes it's faster. Depends on what's burning, right? So you got to keep that in mind whenever you make a fire. You mess with the fire shader or make a fire effect. Always keep this in mind. And yeah, you can just mess with these, and you can get all kinds of different weird effects with it. Maybe you want it. Maybe you want a fire wall, for instance. Core strength. Maybe I don't want the core to show too much, because then it looks weird. And there you go. And yeah, it's very diverse. But either way, with that, I think that should be enough. You can, with that, you could make all kinds of weird fires, and you can have fun with it. And yeah, and if you have any more questions, you could always have a shout in the Discord or a comment down below. And yeah, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.